Lingua para Diablo. The Lingua para Diablo is a story written by Merinda Bobis, which means the devil ate my words. It is all about the story of a family whose father lost his job, a wife who keep on complaining about their difficult situation, and their daughter who keep on imagining things about the silence of her father. The lingua means tongue. It's a Spanish word. It symbolizes the words that were eaten by the devil. That's why the father can't be able to utter a word or lost his will to speak to himself about losing his job. He probably lost his guts to express himself to his wife, not just to his wife, but also to his whole family. For he knows that he can't be able to sustain the needs of his family due to their situation. The daughter keeps on imagining things about the silence of his father. She uses food to interpret and symbolize her thoughts regarding the situation of her father. Many things came up in her mind. She keeps on analyzing and thinking things that maybe one of those is the reason why her father did not speak much in their house, which is not usual than before. The father's wife was lack of idea about the situation of her husband and losing his job. That's why she keeps on complaining about their hard situation. She keeps on grumbling to his husband about living a hellish life in their tiny house. The wife felt miserably in their home. The father keeps on promising and ensuring that he'll be able to sustain and provide for the needs of his family by having an electric fan, bigger windows, a bigger house. However, his wife kept on pushing him away. It was so obvious that the wife was throwing all the blame on his husband because of their miserable life. The husband kept on asking for pledge. However, something in his wife's eyes told him that it was indeed his fault and all the blame would be put to him. That made the husband mutter his usual excuse on their situation that the devil ate my words. The daughter uses foods to describe the tongue of his father, which was eaten by the devil. She was wondering and she imagined herself being cooked and eaten by a rich man so that she might be able to witness and know the feelings of living a wealthy, luxurious life and affluence. She doesn't have any idea who was the devil that ate his father's tongue so that he can't be able to speak to himself. His father kept on staring at his hands and stayed silent for such a long period that it took 2 days for his father to stay in the same way, staying silent while staring at his hands. The father probably lost his guts and chance to speak to himself, especially his own family keep on grumbling and blaming him without also knowing how miserable he is. As I finished reading the story of Lingua para Diablo, I felt really bad for the father, especially that after he lost his job, he also lost his chance to express and speak to himself, to his wife. And without letting her wife knows about it, her wife keeps on complaining and grumbling about their hard situation. It was so obvious that his wife was putting all of the blame on him regarding their hard situation, and it probably hurt his ego and dignity as a father, especially that in our culture, father is the one who is able and capable of giving a comfortable life to their family. The father is the one who will provide the needs of their family. They have a huge responsibility in sustaining their families. The father carry the burden and life of their family for providing the foods that they ate every day, the expenses of their family, the wants and needs of their wife and their children. They brought the huge provision of a certain family, and that is the rule of a father. That's why in Filipino, our father sat and served as our haligi ng tahanan. The reason why if the father loses his job, the foundation of a family is at rest. It will give a great impact and it greatly affect the life of every member of a family. And this is the reflection of the thought situation that the character and the story experienced after the father lost his job. Having a miserable life brought by poverty, lack of ability, unemployment greatly affects a family. This kind of situation and problems are happening, and many families were currently facing this kind of situation right now, especially in our country. Knowingly, the father is the one who sustain and provide our needs and necessities. That's why without their force, their abilities, and their capabilities in sustaining our needs, every member of a family has been affected, especially the wife. Particularly, the father who lacked the ability and the chance to find a decent job, or let's call it unemployed, the foundation of a family will surely be at stake and affected, which leads them to live a miserable life. The reason why wives keep on complaining and grumbling to their husbands that can no longer fulfill their promises and assurance to give their a comfortable life. The story of Lengua para Diablo shows that being a father, being a haligi ng tahanan is not simple as what other people might think. Because the real definition of a father, they carries the burden and life of their family. They carries the great responsibility of a family, and without their ability to sustain, without them, there's a big possibility that each member of a family might lose their lives in starving and for suffering a miserable life. This story reminds me that the rule of a father is not easy. They feel degraded for the complaints and grumbles of their wives. They can't even express themselves, and they lost their chance to speak. For as a man and as a father, they probably thought that they think that they failed to fulfill their promises, and they failed on giving a comfortable life and suitable life for their family. Indeed, as a student, it is crucial and essential to become aware and to have a good mindset in terms of analyzing our life situation, not just to our life but to the life of other people that surrounds us. Having a deep realization of human life is significant to ensure and to live a suitable life. Making the right decision as a youth in our society now is important because youths are the next generation that has the ability and chance to change and develop the world. However, nowadays, students are not aware of the consequences of their deeds. They are not capable of looking and examining vividly the possibilities of their wrongdoings. They didn't see a clear vision of their actions as a students and as a citizen in our country. They probably know the truth and consequences, but they're driven with their satisfaction and pleasure without knowing the result and the consequences. They choose to deny the truth. They did not see the bigger picture of life. They did not realize and they are lack of idea in terms of knowing the flow and situation of human's life. For they probably thought that life is always smooth and plain without knowing that we'll be able to experience rough roads along the way. The reason why they enter and step into situation without thinking, examining, and checking the bigger picture of their unusual deeds. In addition to this, life is not all about us. It's all about Him. We live because we have a purpose, and He gave us that purpose. For at the end of the day, it's not our will be done but His will. Though waves of problems might come along the way, we must always remember that everything works together for good if it's part of His will. It only comes to test us and not to destroy us. We must not dwell on our past, and we must move forward on what's ahead. That's all, ma'am, and thank you so much.